happy Tuesday morning, May 4th, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Tuesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday morning, so let's begin. First step, FDA set to approve Pfizer vaccine for 12 to 15 years old. Governor asks parents to consider it. Approval could come within the next 2 weeks, the governor says. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Summit Packaging Systems is hiring for all shifts. Summit knows stability, security, and growth are extremely valuable. You'll develop skills to succeed and earn steady income and benefits. Apply online at summitpackagingsystems.com/careers today.
I really don't think that they would be approving these vaccines if they really felt that they weren't safe.
Dawn Bowens plans on vaccinating her 14-year-old daughter when the Pfizer vaccine is approved for 12 to 15-year-olds.
Of course, there can be complications. I think we're much more concerned with the complications of her possibly contracting COVID.
Governor Chris Sununu says once it's approved, appointments will be made available on Vinny. Vaccinations will happen at state sites at first.
And what we'll be doing is utilizing both our state sites, typically as we do in our current configuration, as well as a lot of schools. We've gotten very good at doing school-based clinics, as we did for the teachers.
But Governor Sununu also says he realizes the decision to get kids vaccinated isn't taken lightly.
It's only a population of about 50 to 60,000 kids total in the state. Kind of unknown how many will actually, take it. Obviously, you'll have to have parent permission. A lot of parents may want to consult their pediatricians or their doctors beforehand.
Dr. Carolyn Clausen is a family physician and has been fielding questions from concerned parents.
I do have questions from parents at times because we're all nervous about giving anything new to our children. But I was very encouraged by what the studies show.
She's recommending that all children 12 to 15 get the vaccine because contracting COVID could cause harm.
And I would say 100% go ahead and give this vaccination to your kids.
The governor says the vaccine should be approved for this age group in the next couple of weeks. Reporting in Hooksett, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Industries in New Hampshire challenged with hiring, offering initiatives. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Summit Packaging Systems is hiring for all shifts. Summit knows stability, security, and growth are extremely valuable. You'll develop skills to succeed and earn steady income and benefits. Apply online at summitpackagingsystems.com/careers today.
The reality is there's more positions in New Hampshire open now than we seem to have workers available to fill them.
And that's creating challenges across the board for employers in most industries.
We're not alone in the struggle to hire seasonal employees, let alone employees at all.
Matt Hale is the general manager at Water Country. It opens in just over a month, and there are nearly 300 positions available.
We're trying to find ways to attract new talent, attract talent that wants to stick around and develop here with us.
To do that, they're raising their pay. Starting hourly pay rates for positions like lifeguards, park services, and seasonal maintenance have been increased to $13 to $15 an hour. Workers will also get added perks like a $100 referral bonus and season passes for them and up to 3 members of their family.
We've got a dip across the border on each side into Maine and Massachusetts, and once you get into that, you're competing with a very different minimum wage. And
David Juvet, Senior Vice President for Public Policy at the Business and Industry Association, says there is some short-term help for employers. Starting May 23rd, people on unemployment will have to start proving they're looking for work. And in the long term, a focus on training and retaining a workforce in the state.
There's legislation now to promote better connectivity between the community college and employers.
And Water Country will be holding a job fair this coming Saturday in the hopes of trying to fill many of those positions. Reporting live, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Experts say COVID-19 vaccination is faster, safest community solution. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
About 26% of Granite Staters are now fully vaccinated, and more than 61% have had their first shot. That's best in the nation, according to the CDC vaccine tracking website, as the nation collectively presses towards 70% herd immunity.
What does 70 mean versus 75 versus 65? At this point, we're counting every single person. We want every single person to feel comfortable with the vaccine, to come in, to get it, be part of that kind of community solution.
But over the weekend, of 4,500 available appointments for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, only 1,400 were taken. The governor says demand is plateauing because the state got so much vaccine out so quickly.
Obviously, it was disappointing that a lot of more folks didn't take advantage of all that vaccine that was made available, but we'll get it out into the community. It doesn't go bad.
He says the CDC's recent pause in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may have led to some hesitancy. Experts say while adverse effects may be a concern, all the vaccines are safe and effective, and that it's still safer to get the vaccine than not.
These younger individuals who may not be as high of a risk for severe disease, they may still be at risk for long-term symptoms.
The sooner, the better.
Herd immunity is really about breaking the chain of transmission and reducing the amount of people who are susceptible to the disease.
Now, the governor says we're still on track to closing those big fixed sites by Memorial Day. They'll stay open only for second dose appointments. But after that, individuals can get them at pharmacies, through their doctor, or at the hospital. We're live in Portsmouth. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. More than 90 New Hampshire schools take part in federally funded COVID-19 screening program. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Summit Packaging Systems is hiring for all shifts. Summit knows stability, security, and growth are extremely valuable. You'll develop skills to succeed and earn steady income and benefits. Apply online at summitpackagingsystems.com/careers today.
With spring break behind them, New Hampshire schools are hoping to close out the remainder of the year on a strong note.
All of our schools are now open and offering 5 days of instruction for any family that is interested in that.
Doing so safely is top of mind. The DOE has seen a sharp increase in the number of schools applying for the Safer at School screening program. A few weeks ago, only one school district, Manchester, had opted to take part in COVID-19 asymptomatic testing of teachers and students. Now,
we have over 90 schools that have signed up to participate in that program. The symptomatic testing program for the rest of this year just came online in the last couple of days. And so it's just being rolled out to schools, and we'll wait and we'll see how many schools are going to participate in that.
On the call, educators asked if any remaining grant money would be allowed to cover COVID-19 initiatives outside of testing.
When you have a grant program like that, it's usually very narrowly constructed so that you have to use the funds really the way that the federal government instructs you to use them.
As some families return from vacations, the topic of quarantines arose. In particular, what parameters would allow a school to request a quarantine waiver if a classroom or other large cohort was in close contact with the virus?
Let's say it's the entire track team. then they would seek a waiver from the department if that quarantine is going to last more than 48 hours. And we would review that, discussing it both with public health as well as with the governor's office in determining whether or not that waiver would be granted.
Edelblue says there has only been one school so far, which is currently requesting a special waiver. Mike Cherry, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Current COVID-19 cases in New Hampshire fall to lowest level since November 7th. No new deaths related to COVID-19 announced. No additional deaths related to COVID-19 were reported in New Hampshire on Monday as active cases continued to fall, according to health officials. Shaw's drivers, mechanics go on strike in Maine. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
For the easy and the complex, the small stuff and the big, we're here with the affordable local loans, easy to manage accounts, and financial advice to help you blaze a trail, figure stuff out, and make your money go farther. We're Granite State Credit Union. Live bold.
There are dozens of truck drivers and mechanics for Shaw's that are on strike behind me. They're outside of the company's distribution center here in Wells. And these are the folks who are responsible for transporting groceries to stores on a daily basis. And union leaders, they tell me anyone who shops at Shaw's could see the effects of this strike as soon as this afternoon.
Keep the groceries on the shelves. This is going to be a huge impact with them out of work.
About 70 Shaw's supermarket drivers and mechanics went on strike as of this morning at the distribution center in Wells and the truck terminal in Scarborough. The union representing them gave the all clear for strike last fall, and they decided to follow through after more than 20 failed attempts at a contractual agreement during negotiations.
The company has seen record profits during this pandemic, yet they are not seeing fit to take care of the employees who have been taking care of everyone else during this pandemic.
Non-union drivers are being directed to work, but union leader Joseph Bocconi says members have not crossed picket lines.
Their inability to have a contract with us shows that. They're out of touch, and they're out of time now.
Well, these employees are responsible for getting groceries to more than 120 supermarkets here in Maine and across New England. And they tell me that this strike won't end until they're presented with a contract that they deem fair. We've also tried reaching out to the administration over at Shaw's Corporation, but have not heard back. Live in Wells, Talia Clark for WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New York metro area seats deadline to end most capacity restrictions. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS Evening News.
That face that is usually covered by her phone has finally made an appearance.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We are going to begin tonight with breaking news and a game changer for parents worried about their children getting coronavirus. The FDA is now expected to expand the emergency authorization for Pfizer's vaccine to include children as young as 12 years old. Now, the decision, which the New York Times reports could happen as early as this week, could allow more than 15 million teens to get the shots before the start of the next school year. The news comes as Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, once the epicenter of the pandemic, announced today that shops, restaurants, gyms, and other businesses will be allowed to operate at full capacity starting May 19th, including, yes, off-Broadway theaters. And New York City's iconic subway system will also return to 24-hour service in just 2 weeks. And in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis signed an executive order to end local mandates in his state. But tonight, 5 other states are still seeing the rate of new infections rising, including in Oregon, where things are so bad, restrictions aren't being lifted. New ones are actually being put in place in an attempt to stop highly contagious variants of the virus from spreading. Well, we've got 2 reports on all of this news tonight. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti is in Oregon, but first, CBS's Mola Lenghi is going to lead off our coverage from New York's Times Square. Good evening, Mola. Some big news tonight.
Well, good evening, Nora. With New York City set to reopen here, there are signs that a vaccine could be on the way for millions of children across the country. After months of clinical trials, we could be just days away from an approval for children 12 and older to be vaccinated. Pfizer is set to receive FDA emergency use authorization of its vaccine in children ages 12 to 15 within days, according to the New York Times. Pfizer recently announced trial results showing the vaccine has similar efficacy in that age group to adults, and study participants experienced few side effects.
It's a smart reopening. It's a measured reopening.
And tonight, New York is ready for revival.
Today is a milestone for New York State and a significant moment of transition.
In sync with neighboring New Jersey and Connecticut, the move comes on May 19th, when most capacity limits will be lifted. Museums and businesses, including restaurants, retail, gyms, and hair salons, can fully reopen as long as space is available to maintain 6 feet of social distancing. The reopening is a huge turnaround from more than a year ago.
Everyone is COVID positive.
New York City was the epicenter of the COVID crisis, reporting nearly 5,500 cases and more than 600 deaths per day. And it's not just the Northeast that's getting back to normal. Today, the governor of Florida ended all COVID restrictions in the state. Back in New York, a record 635,000 jobs were lost in 2020. The pain of the city's economic downturn is evident in the endless closed storefronts. For a year, it was only takeout and delivery at Usia, a Manhattan restaurant.
For us, it's just, a new beginning and an opportunity to get back to normal.
An opportunity that can't happen soon enough. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, New York.
Boy, oh boy, this past year has been difficult.
Okay, thank you for joining us for this Tuesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.